Thank you for listening to News Radio 710 WNTM. Here with Mary Booth of Mix 99.9, and we're very proud to welcome to the radio station from Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic, Dr. Grant Zarzour. Welcome back.
Well, thanks, Uncle Henry. Mary, it's a pleasure to be here today, and it's exciting to be back in town.
Now, we want to let you, the listener, know that as we have this conversation this hour, you can also watch. We're live on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. You can look at video of me, Mary, and mostly Dr. Zarzour. Now, you were telling Mary earlier that you, as a child, this specialty, well, first tell people what your specialty is before we go into that.
I'm a total joint surgeon at Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic, so that means total hips and total knees. So for joints in the lower leg that have kind of worn out, we go in there and we take out the part where the arthritis is attacked, those hips and knees, and we replace them with new material that makes you be able to walk without pain.
Now, I was amazed, though, to find out you were telling Mary that you were at the clinic as a child learning all this?
Exactly right. Well, my dad, who a lot of people in this town have seen and known, was a wonderful orthopedic surgeon for a very long time, and he actually was the founding physician of AOC. But back in the early 90s, it was West Side Bone and Joint out at Knollwood Hospital, and in the summertime, I was off from school, and I wanted to be with Dad. And so he said, well, come to work with me. And so we'd go sit in the office. And I said, well, I'm bored sitting in the office. I want to do something. And I was probably first started, I was like 11, I think. And so they said, well, you can develop some x-rays in the dark room.
At 11 years old, you're developing x-rays.
I was in the dark room and getting those new x-ray films and putting them through those old machines that aren't used anymore and kind of in darkness all day. But they would let me come out a few times to help get patients back to the room. So I was like the patient care coordinator and the x-ray kind of assistant technician. You know, it was just a wonderful experience to be exposed to orthopedic surgery at such a young age. But really, I was just trying to be with my dad, but it kind of stuck.
Well, did you know then? When did you decide you wanted to do that?
You know, I think I did. I was reminded of a friend of mine who was one of my first patients yesterday, who we were in second grade, and everybody went around the room saying what they wanted to be when they grew up. And he said he wanted to be an astronaut. And he reminded me, he said, when it came to you, you said you want to be an orthopedic surgeon. Everybody's like, first, what is that?
Yeah, really.
And second, how do you know that's what you wanted to do already? And I just wanted to be like Dad.
So did he become an astronaut?
He is not an astronaut yet.
Oh, man.
But you know, we won't close that door on him yet.
So how cool was it for patients to have 11-year-old Grant come and take them back? I mean, that just takes all fear away from anything.
Sure.
When you've got this grinning kid saying, "May I take you back to the exam room now?"
Well, it says a lot. It was a family environment, and it's still that way today, where the people who work at AOC are just one big family who really love each other. And everybody works to help each other and make sure patients are taken care of and make a trip to the doctor a little less stressful and a little less anxiety. And so we learned it at a young age, and we're still doing it.
Before we go any further, we need to let people know, you mentioned AOC, Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic, online, alortho.com. That's very easy to remember, so you can find out more information, alortho.com. Beautiful picture of you there at alortho.com.
A lot of Photoshop and hair and makeup there.
Oh, come on.
Talk to us a little bit about your education becoming an orthopedic surgeon, because you had some, I guess, rudimentary knowledge being around your dad, picking things up, being around it. As you went through your education, did light bulbs keep going off as you understood what you had been seeing years earlier?
Well, you know, after my first year of college, I came back home for the summer, and I was like, I need to immerse myself in the operating room. And so I went to a hospital in town, and it was like May 10th or something. I just got home from school up at Georgia. And I wanted to be like a surgical care or surgical technician in the operating room, actually to see if I could handle it,
right,
to see if I could make it through surgery and, you know, could stomach it. And the hospital said, well, we haven't hired anybody yet. And I said, well, when do you expect? And said, well, probably June. And I was like, I can't sit around for a month. So I actually went to the hospital, to the HR department, and I said, I've been hired as a orderly and a surgical assistant. They said, well, I don't think we've hired anybody. And I said, yes, you've hired me, and I just am really excited to get started. So they gave me a badge, and they said, go through the training today, and then go to the hospital tomorrow at 6. And so I walked in the door in the surgery area, and I was looking for the person who runs the board, which is the big surgery schedule. And I said, I've been hired to be an orderly and surgical assistant. And the head person said, thank God they finally sent me somebody.
Oh, wow.
And so I started very quickly and learned to scrub and how to wash my hands and how to put on everything sterilely and then go in the operating room. And the summertime, things got real busy. And so I kind of graduated from orderly to really helping hold instruments and get involved with the cases, and did that for the whole summer. And it was wonderful. And it kind of just solidified that, okay, this is where I want to be, helping patients and making a difference. And so kind of each step I took, learning more, volunteering in hospitals around the country and around the world was really fantastic. And it always has been a goal to get to where we are today.
At what point did they figure out they hadn't really hired you yet?
Well, so I did. In this hospital, in fairness to them, I did sign all the necessary paperwork and take all the necessary classes before I was allowed in surgery. But I just kind of fast forwarded a little bit and saw an opportunity, and it was a wonderful summer. And so
they didn't figure it out. Okay.
Yeah.
You're listening to Dr. Grant Zarzour. He is now accepting new patients at alortho.com, Alabama Orthopedic Clinic. On your education, though, a lot of us that have not become doctors don't understand a lot of the steps, what a fellowship is, what it means to be board certified. Could you explain a little bit more technically about your education?
Sure. So you basically do your 4 years of college after high school, and then during that time, you're kind of focused on getting into medical school. So your college is a little different than the average college because maybe nights out and having as much fun as the normal kid does, you have to really focus on organic chemistry. And at Georgia, the GPA of that class was a 1.8.
Oh, wow.
The averages on the test like 50s, and they loved being the gatekeepers. And so you had to just muscle your way through all these little hoops to jump through, which, don't have a terribly huge impact on how good a surgeon you might be. But so made it through college and medical school at South Alabama, and actually was given a lot of advice on deferring my acceptance for a year, and I traveled around the world. And I didn't think South Alabama would say yes to that. And I sent them an email, and they said, sure, we think that's a great idea. We'll see you in a year. There are a lot of great stories from that year, and learned a lot about medicine around the world. And then medical school, came back, and 4 years of that. And that is, I like to say that I spent my 20s under fluorescent lighting.
Oh, wow.
Because I was in the library, in the classroom, or in the hospital. So 4 years there, and then after that, you do residency for 5 years for orthopedics. Each specialty is different, but orthopedics is 5. And then after that, a lot of people now are doing a fellowship year, which is basically a hyper-focused year on one part of orthopedics. So my year, I just came back from Jackson, Mississippi, where we were doing total knees and total hips. And so that's what I'll be doing here and focusing on. And we did 725 total joints last year. And it's partial knee replacement, total hip replacement, revisions for people who've had surgery before that need an update. And we used computers to help make sure all the alignment was perfect, and got a lot of experience there, and was really a fantastic year. And so now, after that, ready to see some patients and operating on some people here at the age of 33, ready to start and get out there in the wild.
And in his spare time, he does things like Dragon Boat and Fuse Project and the duck boats and the fort. You're a very busy man, but very involved in the community.
Well, I think there's an opportunity in this town to, in any way, to help people's lives. If there is one, I want to always gravitate toward that, and that's what makes orthopedics so fun, is that somebody comes into clinic with a painful joint, and we can create a path toward making them better. And it doesn't always include surgery. It doesn't always include a needle. It doesn't have to be painful to come see the doctor. We actually have a lot of conservative treatments that will make people's joints feel better and may never need surgery. We're not going to be ones that rush you to the operating room as soon as you come in the door. It's going to be kind of a laying out of the options, and then you're going to tell us what's best for you and your life.
Being involved in philanthropy, is that something your dad also kind of led you into, or is that something that you developed yourself?
My dad did a lot of philanthropy through orthopedics, saw a lot of patients and took care of a lot of people who maybe wouldn't have always had access to being taken care of. And so I was really taught a lot by his example. And then when I went to school and saw some opportunities on campuses to get involved with different, mostly children's philanthropies, we aren't guaranteed tomorrow. And I think on people on their deathbed, nobody says, I wish I would have worked more. They say, I wish I would have helped more people. I wish I would have made a difference in the world. And I'm lucky to have a job where I get to do that and be at work. And the Philanthropy and Fuse Project helps do that as well. And so it's very exciting.
We need to take a break. We're going to come back with more. We're getting a chance to meet Dr. Grant Zarzour, Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic. alortho.com is the website. Hey, there's a new surgeon joining the team at Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic. I'm Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about Dr. Grant Zarzour because it's a remarkable story. See, his dad, Dr. Robert Zarzour, was one of the founders of the clinic, and Grant worked there as a child.
My first job was developing x-rays when I was 11 years old in the darkroom. I was also the patient coordinator. I'd help bring the patients from the waiting room to their exam room. It's real neat to have grown up in a place you get to work. Everyone's family there.
Of course, now Grant Zarzour, he's not 11 anymore. He's a doctor, and his job description has changed.
I'm going to be a total joint specialist, so I'll be doing total hips and total knees. So for those worn out cartilage, arthritic knees and hips, I'll be the one to help put in some new material there to get everybody walking pain-free again.
It's Dr. Grant Zarzour joining Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic and accepting new patients. Call 251-410-3600 or go online to alortho.com.
A lot has changed since Sandy Stimson became mayor.
Mayor Stimson made the tough choices, and now big things are starting to happen here in Mobile.
Thanks to Sandy, Mobile is on solid financial footing.
We have new police cars, fire trucks, roads, and parks.
Businesses are moving here.
And we have cruise ships back in port.
The momentum is real. Let's not stop now.
Re-elect Sandy Stimson from mayor.
Paid for by Sandy Stimson from mayor. P.O. Box 70106, Mobile, Alabama 36670.
I'm Scott Armstrong with Kimco Metal Buildings. Whether you need a building for commercial, storage, church, or community use, Kimco has been designing and constructing the highest quality steel buildings for our customers for almost 50 years. Kimco will use state-of-the-art software and our many years of experience to help you custom design your new metal building. Check out our website at kimcobuildings.com. That's KEMKO, or call us at 251-626-0594.
Win your trip to our 2017 Iheartradio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest. Let's go! Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
Brought to you by Macy's. Macy's presents your opening act at the Iheartradio Music Festival. Rising star winner, James Maslow. For new music and exclusive content from James Maslow and other
We're back here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Keep in mind you can watch us this hour on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. If you want to look at me, if you want to look at Mary of Mix 99.9, and if you want to look at Dr. Grant Zarzour of Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic, that's alortho.com.
Now, Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic, I think we should go back just a little bit, Dr. I started to say Dr. Grant, Dr. Z. We'll get into that in a minute, too. But there are 21 doctors now that you have joined Alabama Orthopaedic, and it covers just about everything from surgery to therapy. I mean, you've got general orthopedic and spine, sports medicine, foot and ankle, all the parts, hands, fracture care, pain management, and then there's you, total joint replacement.
Right. It's total orthopedic care at AOC, and happy to be joining the team and working on some joints.
Well, and let's talk about that because, I think that, well, I'll back up a little more. When I first sat down at the desk, I had to pop my knee back in place, and he said, you can come see me and we can take care of that. At what point do people need to come to see you? Because I wonder if we wait too late, do we limit our options?
Right. Well, I think the best scenario is to not be afraid to come and discuss the options. There's no problem with coming to clinic, and we take x-rays and we take a look and say, man, we've got some opportunities for you to prevent this from getting worse, that don't involve surgery, that don't involve a needle, that don't involve pain in the clinic. It could be an anti-inflammatory pill. It could be some physical therapy. It could be some stretching, or it could be some shoe modifications. There's a number of conservative options. So I think people think if they're coming to orthopedic surgeon's office, that means they're ready for surgery, have to have surgery. I think it's a misconception that you need to wait until it's just unbearable. It does make it a little more difficult, honestly, when a joint gets more and more worn out. It gets a little bit harder during surgery, but the good news is we can handle anything. But one of my first patients yesterday had a hip and had just severe arthritis in his hip. And he was one of these tough, stoic guys who didn't like coming to the doctor. And you could tell by the x-ray that he had been going through a lot of pain and for years. And I kind of told him, I said, you're going to regret as soon as your surgery's over not having done this 5 years ago, because your quality of life matters.
Yeah.
How you feel every single day matters. And I think that he's going to have a great outcome with his total hip procedure. And we'll look back going and telling his friends, I should have done this so many years ago. And I hate to see people lose years of their life and the quality and prime of their life because they were afraid or weren't quite sure when to come to the doctor.
Well, and do you find that doctors aren't quite sure sometimes when to refer someone?
You know, I think sometimes you'll see some patients where they maybe are one of these stoic type players, or people say, I don't want to go to the... There's nothing wrong with coming in for a visit, and let's just talk it out. Never be afraid. We're never going to turn someone away who... It's a great day to be able to say, your knee looks great, your hip looks great, go out and do whatever you want to do, kind of some reassurance. And that has a big effect on people's lives, too. They go, okay, I'm okay. I don't need to worry about this for a while. I can take that off my worry list. So there's really just no downside to come and getting things checked out.
So I don't need to get a referral? Do I need a referral?
You do not have to have a referral. Actually, you can call our phone number, 410-3600, and we can get you plugged in. A lot of times it's the same day.
Wow, okay.
That's fast.
And I think that, too, there are several misconceptions, but one is that a clinic appointment means the rest of your day is canceled. You're going to be in the waiting room for the whole day, and we are going to work very hard to make sure there's a very efficient use. Your time's just as valuable as mine, and I honestly believe that. And my dad taught me that. He had signs in his clinic rooms that said, "Please feel free to answer your cell phone."
What?
Every other doctor's office on the planet says
put them up. Yeah.
Penalty of death if you touch your phone.
That's right.
But, my dad taught me that everyone's time is valuable. And none is more valuable than the other. And so we're going to make sure that when you come and get checked in, we're going to get you back, maybe take an x-ray, get you in the room, and then get you on with your life. Because I get anxiety seeing that a patient's been here for 45 minutes and not back in a room and being seen, because I would be upset if I were in that scenario. So I guess I have a lot of empathy. I've been to some other visits with family members, and we're going to make sure we're real efficient at our practice.
Yeah, your dad used to actually even go get patients a cup of coffee.
Yeah, my dad, he would walk in and say, can I get you a cup of coffee? And I actually was told a story several times of patients I saw during residency at the University of South Alabama Medical Center. They would say, your dad, I had never seen him before, and it was 8:30 in the morning, and I was kind of nervous because I had heard about him, and how he was so busy. And he walked in and said, "Hi, I'm Bob. Can I get you a Bud Light?" and the patient said, yes, no, I don't know.
What is the right answer to that?
Yeah. But he would have gotten the Bud Light for him, but a lot more coffee and tea is what he did. But we have a Keurig machine now in my clinic, and anybody who wants a cup of coffee can have one. And it's easy to do and happy to have that. The doctor's visit doesn't have to be a horrible experience.
Okay, now you brought up the fact that he called himself Bob, and everybody called him Dr. Z.
Right.
So you were Dr. Z when you were in residency, but you can't be that now.
Yeah, when you go in and the patient's in the bed, or you meet him in the clinic, and you say, "My name's Grant Zarzour," and they hear multiple Z's. Mm-hmm. There's this look of, "Oh God, am I going to have to say that back? And is there an alternative that I could use maybe?" And so when I would tell people, "Just call me Dr. Z," the look of relief on a patient's face was dramatic. But I've been called a lot of things: Zar squared, Zarzour, Baby Z, which I'm not terribly fond of. But Dr. Z was certainly my dad and created an amazing legacy. But I think that's probably where we're trending is toward Dr. Z. But it'll remind me every day I've got some awful big shoes to fill.
AOC has a tremendous facility, and if people aren't familiar with it, it's on the Beltline over there near Spring Hill Medical. And my mom actually just had surgery there, and she woke up from surgery, and the first words out of her mouth was, "This was the best surgical experience I have ever had. And I thought, wow.
Right.
You know, you've got a great facility, and people, I don't know if they realize all that you can do there.
Exactly. It is kind of a one-stop shop where your physical therapy, your MRI, we have an outpatient surgery center there. It's really all under one roof, and we actually have another office now at the infirmary, and then we have inpatient hospital options all across town at the infirmary and Spring Hill Hospital and several others. And so really anything that you need, we can take care of. But I think the goal with every patient is an A-plus VIP experience for everyone.
Well, definitely. My mom got that.
Great.
I was there to witness it.
Absolutely.
And that was really good. And you really don't realize how many different doctors, how many different, you know, specialties there are. How do you get started? Do you just call the number 251-410-3600 and
Exactly.
just they direct you, whether it's general or to something specific?
We have a great phone team that several people have been there over 20 years. And they do a fantastic job of getting everybody in the right place and plugged in. And we even have online appointments now. You can go online. And some people want to avoid the phone calls, and they want to just go online and be able to schedule. And we're actually ramping that up even more. But I think that's an exciting addition so that people can just maybe look at the schedule and pick a spot. But
ALortho.com, by the way.
Exactly
ALortho.com.
right. And we've got 21 docs ready to take care of any issue.
You mentioned that it feels like family there to you because you've been around the people so much. What is it like though to be there as one of the doctors? That's got to feel different.
Sure, it does. It does feel different. I'm still kind of getting into that role. I think that for so long I was the patient advocate or patient care coordinator or the x-ray technician, or I actually was the landscaper for a while at the office as well. And so now kind of in that transition period. But the good news is the last 10 years of work in the classroom and the operating room and in the library have really prepared me for getting started. And certainly the last year subspecializing and just really doing a lot of total hips and total knees that we're ready for prime time.
Okay. Are a lot more people getting their knees and hips replaced now? It just seems like, maybe it's just my age. I just seem like all my friends on Facebook are.
Right, everybody I know is getting their knee or their hip replaced.
Well, if you look at the graphs on how many people are getting it each year, it's just a straight line up almost on the need. And so that's one of the reasons I gravitated toward total joints. Is not only the outcomes are very, very positive, it's really a high 90%er that things are going to go very well, but there's just a huge need. And so it really is, our knees and our hips do get worn out a little bit, but the good news is we have a lot of options to get you back toward feeling a whole lot better.
We need to take a break for weather and news. We'll come back with more as we meet Dr. Grant Zarzour, Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic. ALortho.com is the website.
Tomorrow morning at 5. Climb out of bed. Entertained and informed.
Gosh darn it, I was president again.
Wake up with Uncle Henry.
Get out of bed, you slacker.
On News Radio 710 WNTM. Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
Good Tuesday to you, everybody. We are turning up our afternoon temperatures today. We're going to be flirting with 90 degrees. We've got about a 30% chance of wet weather, so you may have to dodge a few afternoon pop-ups. A tropical night tonight with lows in the 70s. The weather's on repeat for Wednesday with more storm action late week. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this Iheartradio station.
This report is brought to you by Fossack Tire and Service. Hi, Chip Nelson. Fossack Tire and Service sets themselves apart from the competition with a lifetime rotation, rebalancing, and flat repairs on most tires they sell. And for service, brakes, alignments, air conditioning, and oil changes. 2 shops in Mobile, 1 in Daphne. See FossackTire.com.
Do you have high cholesterol? Are you unable to tolerate high doses of statin medication? You may be eligible for a clinical research study being conducted to test the safety and effectiveness of an investigational medication that may help to lower cholesterol levels in people who are unable to tolerate high doses of statin medication. To qualify, you must be at least 18 years of age, have high cholesterol, be taking a statin medication that is low dose or less than low dose, including if you are unable to tolerate a statin at any dose, and meet additional study criteria. Qualified participants will receive all study medication and study-related care from a dedicated team of medical staff at no cost. Health insurance is not required to participate. To find out more about this high cholesterol clinical research study and to see if you qualify, call Coastal Clinical Research Inc. at 251-262-4951. That's 251-262-4951. Call now. 251-262-4951.
Today we're talking about your budget and budget blinds.
People get so hung up on that word budget.
Listen, everybody's got a budget. Budget blinds is all about getting the window coverings you really want at a price that fits your budget.
Right, they have exclusive designer styles, hundreds of choices.
And Budget Blinds gives you expert service. None of that do-it-yourself. The pros bring the showroom to you, then do it all. Measure and install.
What a relief.
That's style and service for every budget.
And right now, during their 25th anniversary celebration, it's the biggest sale of the year with special upgrades and offers.
Explain the free upgrades, like the invisible tilt for shutters.
Make shutters look cleaner, more contemporary. Same with the free cordless upgrade on honeycomb shades. No cords. Looks sleek and uncluttered.
I like that. Just call this number. It's easy to remember. 855-BUDGET BLINDS.
855, then the name, Budget Blinds, or go online.
BudgetBlinds.com.
Remember, budget means getting custom window coverings at a price that fits your budget. And remember, 855-BUDGET BLINDS.
Offer good on selected products at participating independently owned and operated franchises only. Some restrictions may apply. Ask for details.
For more information about contests on this station, go to newsradio710.com/rules.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu.
I basically told the Security Council, we've talked enough. It's time to get this done.
UN Ambassador Nikki Haley on the new sanctions against North Korea for its missile program on another front.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is trying to press allies and adversaries to cut off North Korea from the world economy, to cut off its revenue flows, and to try to force and convince it to give up its nuclear programs and ballistic missile programs. There are existing sanctions. Much of this effort is to try to get the world to even enforce the sanctions that are already in place.
Fox's Rich Edson, safety experts warning millions could be at risk now that U.S. officials are dropping plans requiring truck drivers and train engineers to be screened for sleep apnea. The government saying the testing should be left to railroads and trucking companies. And a magnitude 6.5 earthquake striking western China. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Back here on News Radio 710 WNTM. You can watch us on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page with live video here with Dr. Grant Zarzour, Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic, alortho.com. Mary's here from Mix 99.9. Mary, and we have another doctor.
Yeah, well, no, this is not a doctor. This is the CEO of AOC, which is a lot of letters for Dean Brown. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You have been with AOC for
20 years.
20 years. Well, we're going to get into that in a bit because you've been around forever because you grew up at the practice with your dad, who was one of the founding doctors.
Right.
Dr. Zarzour, Grant Zarzour, just joined AOC as a joint replacement surgeon. And in the previous segment, Uncle Henry and I were talking about how common it's become for total hip and total knee replacement. If somebody's thinking about doing that, I mean, the last thing you want to do is ask your friends. I want to ask the doctor, what do I expect? What can I expect when I come?
Well, it'll probably involve first, multiple clinic visits where we try conservative things first. So the first visit is very rarely going to be scheduled for surgery. There's going to be a game plan on let's make sure that surgery is the best thing for you. Because we only want to take people to surgery who we're very confident are going to do great. And so we want to get everybody optimized in their health, their nutrition, their whole setup. And then once it's time to pick a date, you'll tell us a date that works for you, and we'll get scheduled for doing that surgery in the hospital. And there'll be a few, you go to your primary care and you get kind of cleared, where they may hook up some wires to you and do some tests and EKG and some lab work, and we make sure all that looks good. And then the day of surgery, you'll get to the hospital a few hours before your procedure, and anesthesia comes and talks to you, the nurse comes and talks to you, and kind of gets you all ready to go for surgery. And then once we get back in the room, the surgery only lasts, really my part is about 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of workup, but for my part, from the skin incision to the skin closing back up together, it's usually about 45 minutes to an hour. Whether it's a partial knee replacement, where only part of the knee is damaged and only part of the knee needs to be replaced, or a total knee replacement where we actually replace part of your thigh bone, your shin bone, and your kneecap. We replace all three of those, a portion of it, around your knee joint. Or if it's a total hip, we take part of the top of your thigh bone and part of your hip bone, hip socket, and replace those with new smooth surfaces. So now Your nerve endings are gone, the angry bone is gone, and it's replaced with nice, smooth material that you can walk without pain. And so then after that, you're closed back up. We put some numbing medicine around the incision. You'll have a block, which basically tells your nerves to calm down for a while, so that we really try to control your pain. We even give you medicines before surgery to kind of counteract what will happen after surgery. Pain control, I want to say, is probably one of the biggest things we're focused on right now in the whole episode of care, because everyone, rightfully so, is worried about how much pain will I be in.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and our job is to make sure we do everything we can to minimize that pain. And so we've got a number of different ways, whether it be an injection around where we're doing surgery, the block for the nerves in the area of the surgery, and then after you get back into the PACU or the post-anesthesia care unit right after surgery and then onto the floor, we get you moving with physical therapy. And some people don't maybe want to jump up and move right away. But
wait a minute. Could you
Speaking of some people.
I just want to make sure I understand. How soon am I moving around after you've operated on me and you've taken away angry bone? When do I move?
Within a few hours.
Within a few hours.
That's amazing.
Within a few hours. And all the data and all our research shows that the faster you get up, the faster you're back to normal. And people are worried to maybe take that first couple steps, and then they're surprised on, man, it's not killing me.
Right.
And I already feel better. And now our hospital stays are shortening to the point where maybe a night or two for a knee or one night for a hip. And actually, in Jackson, we were doing outpatient total knees and outpatient total hips where you leave the same day.
Wow.
We've actually done some of those partial knees, and Dean knows this, at Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic, partial knee replacements where you go home the same day. And one of the first places in the state to do that. And so there's a model that exists that's been perfected. We're copying that model and making it so that wherever is best for you, whether it be the hospital or whether you're young, healthy, and ready to go the same day, go home, we've got a care plan for everybody. And then I think there's kind of a misconception that you're on the bed or in the bed for months before you can return to work or life. That's really not the case. A partial knee replacement, really at 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, people are feeling about 90% recovered.
Wow.
There were several people at 2 weeks from a partial knee replacement who said, why am I coming to the doctor?
Why can't I just go back to work? Yeah.
Right. Now, total knee, where we take out a little bit more, usually takes a few more weeks than that. And in physical therapy is a big deal. We got to make sure your motion returns. But there's nothing that a motivated patient can't accomplish. And the same thing for a total hip procedure. Those actually recover pretty quickly as well. A few weeks, honestly, 2-3 weeks, and total hip patients are walking around, moving back to work, going to church, back in their community. And I think a lot of people are shocked because they've heard some horror story from a cousin, or
that's why I said don't ask your friends
on the
first.
internet, or a family member twice removed.
Yeah.
And there are complications that occur with these procedures. I'm not going to sit here and say that they don't, but the complication rate in someone who's fellowship trained or highly specific toward these procedures is under 3%, and we work everything we can to make sure that number is zero. So that's what we spend all of our time working on.
Now, in your specialty in total joint replacement, is there consistent innovation? Are you constantly improving the technology, the techniques, the procedures?
Sure, absolutely. And you can just look at how long people used to stay in the hospital. They used to be in the hospital for weeks after a total joint replacement. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was a life-altering event, and it was a long time before you were ready to go up and get up and go again. But now the lengths of stays are 1-2 days or sometimes same day, and there's always new technology. I mean, in our operating room, we use a computer alignment for your total knee procedure, your partial knee procedure. So
I need to go in for alignment.
Right, but to make sure every cut is perfect and your new knee is in there perfectly, we have some help to do that.
Now, Dean, Dr. Grant mentioned something that I think we need to talk a little bit more about. The facilities at AOC, you've got some big plans. You're already doing big things, but tell us where you are now and what the plans are.
Sure. Actually, about a year ago, we did our first partial knee replacement, and we were talking about technology. Some of the technology that we have, they will actually do a CT or MRI of the knee that the piece that they will take out they'll do a replica of it based with 3D printing.
Oh, wow.
And they'll actually put that knee on the specific to you. So when we get the implant, it has your name on it, and we put it in. You come in the surgery center that morning, probably sometime after lunch. You get up, you do a little bit of physical therapy before you leave, and then you go home.
You're kidding.
No. And we, as a matter of fact, I went by the facility before I came, and we were doing a partial knee this morning there.
And this is something that isn't done everywhere.
No. We were the first facility in Alabama, and one of the things that Grant and I have been talking about is we would like to be the first facility to do a full knee implant in Alabama.
So that's on the horizon.
It is on the horizon. We have the technology, we have the facility to do it. It's these days it's more of a whether a specific payer will pay for the procedure, because traditionally it's been done in a hospital setting, inpatient setting.
And right now, honestly, there's some people listening to this show, I'm sure, that have had a total joint replacement, and they maybe were active and have heard about this being able to go home the same day, and they're leaving our community to get their surgery done. They think that they need to leave in order to get the highest level of care, and the good news is very soon they will not. And we have the joint surgeons already who are experts and can do a fantastic total knee or total hip, and we'll be able to offer everything right here in Mobile. There's no reason to ever have to leave town.
Your dad would be so excited by all of this.
He would be. He would be. He would love it. And he started using computers to help him with his joint procedures at quite early in the whole process, and saw the benefit. And so it's exciting.
So AOC has always been looking forward.
Dr. Zarzour recruited me to come to AOC over 20 years ago, and he was a true visionary. He's the reason we have the facility with everything where you can get just about anything orthopedically done or treated in our facility. He specifically, when he brought me here 20 years ago, told me that was what he wanted to do, and he wanted me to help him do that. And we did that together. And it was it's exciting to finally see it come to fruition.
Okay, we need to take a break. We're going to come back with more with our guests from Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic. You can find out more online, alortho.com.
This is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about Dr. Thomas Bender and Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. We love living on the Gulf Coast. We love all the fun activities, the fishing, the golf. But years of being out in the elements, well, that can accelerate damage to your skin. That can accelerate the aging process of your skin. Dr. Bender can help you with that. Dr. Bender is a board-certified dermatologist. He provides the latest innovations in medical skincare and cosmetic skincare, and he also has all the latest technology. He's got 3 convenient locations, Mobile, Daphne, and Bay Minette. You can find out more about Dr. Bender and all of the services he provides by going online. The website is advanceddermclinic.com. That's advanceddermclinic.com. That's Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k, IRA, or investment account? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Experts warn of a stock market crash any day now, and you could lose 50% or more of your hard-earned savings again. But you don't have to lose a penny. There's a better, safer way to save for retirement, and you can learn about it in a free report. This method continues to grow your money even when the market tumbles. To get this free report, go to bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
The IRS doesn't mess around. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. If you owe back taxes, call Optima Tax Relief. Optima has access to a special IRS program called the Fresh Start Initiative, and their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. Optima is A-rated with the Better Business Bureau. Don't delay. Call now for your free consultation.
Call 800-960-1575. 800-960-1575.
New. We all love new. And now there's a new version of the Iheartradio app. It's not an update. It's an upgrade. All your favorite music and live radio stations are easier to find, getting you closer to the music you love with just a tap.
This is Angus Young from AC/DC on Iheartradio.
Breathe in that new app smell. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Go to your app store and get the new Iheartradio app now.
I'm Trip Pittman, candidate for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Alabama hasn't elected a businessman to the U.S. Senate in 110 years. That must change. As a self-made businessman, I understand how to get things done. We need more businessmen in office who can lead and solve problems. Businessmen have to balance budgets. Career politicians don't. You can help send a real businessman to Washington, D.C. I'm Trip Pittman, and I ask for your vote on August 15th.
We're back on News Radio 710 WNTM with Dr. Grant Zarzour, Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic, alortho.com. You can watch us. You can look at Dr. Zarzour. And I guess you can determine a lot by body language. On the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page, we do have live video. And Mary, you were telling me that our two guests have known each other for years.
Okay, well, let's back up just a little bit. Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic, one of the founding doctors was Dr. Robert Zarzour.
Right.
Dr. Grant Zarzour's dad.
Right.
Dr. Grant grew up following his dad around 11. He said he was in the x-ray room developing x-rays and then patient coordinator, even doing some of the landscaping. Well, 20 years ago, Dr. Robert Zarzour hired Dean Brown, who is the CEO of AOC. So you remember when Dean was brought in.
I think I was trimming bushes in the parking lot and saw him pull in for the first time. And 20 years ago,
I had to get him to redo them, by the way.
That's right.
Did you really?
That's right.
I mean, you had to ride this kid for a long time, right?
Dean's brought us to the next level, and it didn't exclude landscaping either. So we had to get everything up to snuff.
So what was he like as a kid at AOC?
Oh, he was great. Worked all throughout the clinic. Always had a smile like he does now. I feel like he kind of knew what he wanted to do back then.
There was never a question.
No, when we would joke about it, and of course I never thought the day would come when he actually started, and so we're very excited to actually have it happen. We're feeling old now, but
Honey, I do that all the time. Don't worry about it.
The guy that was trimming the bushes is now going to be
the joint
doing a total joint
surgeon.
for you. Yeah.
Right.
But he was developing his hands even back then.
And that's a good way to look at it, and developing his patient care techniques under his dad.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people at AOC learned a lot from his dad. He was really a mentor to me and taught me a lot about leadership and how to lead physicians, which is no easy task. We always joked about that it was like herding cats, and he was an amazing cat wrestler.
With a new cat on the this one's going to be difficult to hurt. Was it a foregone conclusion that you would end up at AOC?
I always wanted to come back to Mobile. There may have been some other offers that people made, but
did you have to recruit him?
We had to sweeten the pot a little bit to get him back here.
But,
really?
Well, Mobile has always been home, and to be able to be offered a spot at the premier orthopedic group really in the Southeast is quite a blessing, and so pretty hard to turn that down, and to be able to follow my dad's footsteps is awful neat. And I remember him talking about when the groups came together and AOC was formed, and through Dean's leadership, it really you think there was probably a whole lot of paperwork. A lot of it was written on napkins.
You're kidding.
And a lot of it was done with handshakes between surgeons and my dad and Dean, and it was a lot of trust involved, and a lot of people maybe were concerned about everybody being under one roof at the beginning and what the future would look like, but they trusted my dad to do the right thing.
That's right. When we were having a strategic planning retreat, at the time we had 4 locations around town, small locations. Everybody was very comfortable in their own location and had their way of doing it. And so it was very intimidating and scary for a lot of the physicians and employees thinking about being in one building. And there's no way that could have happened without Dr. Zarzour stepping in and pretty much just saying, this is what we're doing. And it wasn't, okay, can I see a show of hands? It was, this is our plan. And that really helped me because there's no way I could have done that. Once we had the plan, I just went out and executed the plan. But he was the visionary and Grant has a lot of those same characteristics, and we've been talking now way before he got here about the things we want to do to take things to the next level, which is doing outpatient joints so that people come in for surgery, they go home the same day.
You know, what has come from these, like you said, 4 separate practices that join together with a vision is a huge facility on the Beltline near Spring Hill Medical. 21 doctors now that Dr. Grant Zarzour has joined the staff. Sports medicine, general orthopedic, spine, foot and ankle, hand, fracture care, pain management, and your specialty, total joint replacement. So really, anywhere, you know.
Anything that ails you.
Yeah. Well, orthopedically speaking,
Right.
yes.
It's true.
You know, you can just come in and get situated with whatever part's breaking down, because I'm here to tell you, eventually something's going to break down a little bit. And I think that's awesome that you have, you know, the surgery facility and that you're looking to expand it to outpatient surgery. Who knew you could be a part of this vision 20 years ago?
Well, I'm very lucky for the other 20 orthopedists and doctors who have really blazed this trail with Dean's leadership, and it's been a big team effort, and everybody's grabbed a shovel to help build on everything, and I'm just ready to put a hard hat on and grab a shovel to help along the way.
So you are accepting patients. You've already started.
Started yesterday, saw a clinic yesterday, and clinic again tomorrow and Friday, and surgeries on Tuesdays and Thursdays starting next week. And so exciting to get the ball moving and build off of the 700 and something cases from the last 12 months.
Now, we've talked about how you were there as a kid watching your dad work. I know a lot of the techniques have become different. But are you going to practice similar to your dad?
Sure.
Is it going to be like another version of your dad there, or is it going to be a different style?
I used to joke with him that I was the new and improved Dr. Z, and he would laugh and agree. Honestly, I think that he started with a general orthopedist doing anything that came through. He would do spine, he would do total joints, he would do foot and ankle, he would do everything. And now we're kind of getting into a world where everybody's kind of hyper focused on one area, and it's some degree you wish you could open the doors and take in every single person, but it's all about what's best for the patient. What's best for your long-term outcome. And really, it's like any other job. If you go to work doing something the same thing every day, you get very, very good at it. And so that's why I'm focused on total hips and total knees, and we've gotten very, very good at it. And that way, when you come with that problem, we're going to be able to fix it. If you have a shoulder problem or a back problem or a foot problem or a hand problem, whatever it might be, we can send you to somebody in the same building who's hyper-focused on that, who's done a lot of them and ready to make you better.
And general orthopedic care as well.
Right. There's not a doctor in the building that can't take care of you.
And the sports medicine thing is so huge, too.
It is.
That has become such an issue. I'm a mother of a baseball player, so well aware of the issues with sports medicine, and AOC has a great facility.
We do, and we were talking about trying to do total joints. Most of the other surgery that we're already doing is same-day surgery, whether you're having a rotator cuff repair or an ACL repair. All of that is done within a few hours at our facility. Then you go home.
And one of the really cool things, Uncle Henry, that is available today that was not available to your dad is you can get information out to people about surgeries. I've seen several of the videos on YouTube and on Facebook from AOC showing patients with a range of motion, just 7 weeks after surgery that they didn't believe was possible, and showing, and educating people. It gives you a chance
pulling back the veil on what the process is like. And I think it's critical, and I think it's certainly understandable. People want to know what they're about to get into before they sign up for it. And so we've got a great marketing team, and we're going to continue to educate people on what the process is like so they can know if it's the right time for them. We'll be happy to take care of them.
So AOC's on Facebook?
On Facebook.
On YouTube?
Twitter. On YouTube, on Twitter.
Twitter, yes.
We tweet.
Yeah,
we
they
tweet,
tweet.
baby. We tweet.
Wow.
That's right.
And, of course, there's the website, alortho.com, which can give you the full scope of everything that Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic offers. But I just love watching these videos because it's real doctors talking to real patients and showing you the outcomes of these surgeries. It like you said, it opens up the veil. It's not a mystery anymore. It's here's how we can help you.
Less stressful experience.
And less painful.
Right.
Because we're all about less pain.
Absolutely. Less pain. We can handle that.
Okay. We've got a couple of minutes left, just 2 minutes left in the show. So what do most people misunderstand about getting a knee replacement or a hip replacement?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is that they're out for weeks and weeks and they won't be able to return to life very quickly. And we discussed that really it's not very long. It's a matter of a short number of weeks before you're back doing the things you were doing before, and obviously with less pain than you were before. I think another one is, like we discussed, coming to clinic means your day is ruined and you've got to take the whole day off from work. We're going to work very hard in our total joint clinic that you're in and out of there with your x-rays and your kind of care plan, and can still go out and have lunch or go do something that afternoon or have the morning in advance. And so we're going to be working on that. And then the biggest thing, like we discussed, is pain is not a result of going to the doctor every time coming to see us. We aren't going to just as soon as you walk in the door hit you with a shot. And
thank you.
and we don't have the scalpels out ready to go as soon as you walk in the door. It really is the patient's opportunity to understand what's going on with their body, and then the patient decides what's best. We will just simply present, here are the options we can do, but the patient is the boss. And that's the way it should be, and that's the way that we get the best outcomes, when it's a team approach toward the best way to take care of your knee or hip.
Who's a good candidate for that?
Well, anybody who's having really significant knee pain or hip pain that maybe they've seen their primary care or maybe they haven't, but if you have pain on a daily basis, or certainly after activity or right after you get out of the bed in the morning or at the end of the day after working, where that kind of swelling has been building up in those joints, that's a sign you may have arthritis. And if it's early arthritis, we've got some great plans for that. And if it's later arthritis, we've got some options for that too as well. So if you're having kind of knee pain or hip pain each day or a couple times a week or even a couple times a month, come in and see us and we'll create a plan just for you.
Some of the other misperceptions just about going to see a specialist is that it's sometimes difficult to get in, or you have to go see your primary care doctor. Dr. Zarzour, it was his original philosophy was never to say no. So when a patient calls, we don't care what kind of insurance you have. We don't care what your ailment is. If it's orthopedic, we will get you in as long as you can see. If you're not particular about the doctor that you see, as long as you're willing to see a doctor at AOC.
And we are out of time. It was great. It was great meeting you both, Dr. Grant Zarzour, alortho.com, Alabama Orthopaedic Clinic.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. U.S. stocks have turned mildly higher in muted trading after data showed a surge in U.S. job openings to a record. The dollar erased early losses to trade little changed. Gold advanced, the 10-year Treasury yield edged higher, and crude retreated towards $49 a barrel. The Dow is up 10 points, a small fraction of a percent to 22,128. The S&P up a fraction of a point, the Nasdaq up 1 point. Ralph Lauren and Michael Kors merchandise is less likely to be marked down these days, and that's showing up on the bottom line for both companies. The two fashion houses posted profit that significantly beat estimates. Shares of Ralph Lauren are up